The Thursday night edition of the Sports Den, man, it's here. Thursday night. What do you say? Friday Eve.
Friday Eve.
Friday Eve,
and the best day of the week.
And we have NBA basketball.
Yes, finally.
Yeah, watching that. Yeah, we got some feedback somewhere on here. It's right there. Yeah, so watching that, and then big news today from the SEC. Let's just dig right into that. Let's not bury the lead there. While you're sipping on your ABC fine wine and spirits drink, let's dig into what the SEC did today. The SEC announced that they are going to play a 10-game conference-only football schedule, no plus one. That's probably not the big news. The big news is when it begins. It begins September 26th. So basically a full month over when we thought that college football would begin, right? Right or wrong, it's an announcement.
Yes, it is an announcement. They announced.
It's a decision, and I'm using air quotes on decision because decisions, as we said with the ACC, can change.
Right.
I don't think this is the SEC just trying to be different. I've heard people say that. I'll tell you, I'll get this out of the way right now. I'll tell you why I'm worried. Last night I said that I was with you with my positivity. The index had gone up. I was 30% sure that there was going to be a season a couple weeks ago. Last night I was 50% sure. I'm back down to 30% now. The reason why is because we can pull the tape. A couple months ago, or about a month ago, I said that I was told by a coach in the SEC that what the SEC would do is they would announce a decision that delayed the season as long as they could and hope for a miracle.
Right.
And then at that point, if they didn't get the miracle, they would cancel. So that's got me a little worried that I don't think they really could have delayed it today much longer than September 26th. If they would have come out and said, hey, it's October 15th or October, whatever that Saturday is, that would have been too long. You couldn't have gotten the whole season in by mid-December the way that everybody else has fallen and then still got the college football playoff.
Right. I personally think right now what the SEC did was force the college football playoff to either truly make itself into a bigger format, which it's not a bad thing. I know that's not what they want to do, but it's not the end of the world if they do it, or they can't have it. And I say that because of this. Yes, the SEC is probably more than likely, them and the Big Ten to me, are the two biggest, playing the best football today.
Right now, the most powerful conferences, yeah.
But not having out-of-conference games or being the only ones to shy away from it, I kind of get the Big Ten more than I get in the Pac-12, more than I get the SEC. Really, California is huge, so I mean, but it's still one state, and they're bordering states. Most of the people in the Pac-12, outside of one, are really right there, concise, condensed. Same thing with the Big Ten. Most of that's the northern Midwest schools. They're really close. SEC spans from the Midwest all the way to basically the East Coast with Georgia and Florida. Like that makes that like playing in conference isn't like you can play the Big 12 and the ACC, mix it up, and you really won't have any other issues. My problem is that we can't continue to say like what if this is the year that Miami does? Just saying hypothetically speaking, Miami comes on, North Carolina comes on. A lot of these schools, like in the ACC, which it can flip. It wasn't the Big Ten was weak a few years ago, but you can't just say I'm the best conference because I beat up on my little brothers and sisters. The schedule can be harder for Florida, but like they had every opportunity to not duck it, and they did. That's really there's no other way to look at it.
Oh, I think there's a whole different way to look at it. When does that game play, James?
That game is played the last game of the season, or even if you wanted to do something new, which the NCAA has given you the wiggle room to do. You can play in week 0, which I think is still the week 0 thing.
The week 0 thing's not happening. I don't care what Oklahoma says.
But as far as September 26th, you are literally the only conference that is holding out for that hope. Big Ten is starting out. From all of
Big Ten's pretty late.
When does Big Ten start?
Isn't Big Ten
the middle of September?
Yeah.
Okay, September 10th. The middle of September. The point is that if you wanted to do this announcement didn't have. It's ironic that this announcement comes today after you had a 10+1, especially knowing the things that I talked about here on sportsden, knowing the conversations that the University of Florida's president and athletic director told as far as all the other state schools presidents. We're coming together. We're going to stick together. We're going to play the in-state schools. We're going to have the in-state rivalries. Same thing coming from the University of Georgia. To find out that these guys literally just folded shop from the respective university systems to join in hand with the conference. I have no problem with it, but just don't lead other people on because somebody else could have made a different decision.
Okay, two things. One, with all due respect, I don't think Georgia's ducking Georgia Tech, and I don't think Florida's ducking Florida State.
Then they're bowing to Alabama for something that doesn't affect their money.
No, here's what I think is happening. Is those games are the last game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
When you say we're going 10+1, you're defining the end of your season. Like there's no wiggle room in there right now. If they want to move from September 26th to October 3rd or whatever that would be, or October 10th or whatever that would be, they can. Because it's all in conference.
No, you're saying 10+1. Like there's no guarantee that no. What you're
they could go 8.
You're defining the game that is important to you and what you guys have done. This game has been played since 1957.
No, I'm not.
No, what I'm saying, no. You're not. The ACC is. That's what they did, and they didn't go in there saying, you know what, let's just do this. No, because the most important schools, the schools with clout in that conference, Clemson, or mainly Clemson and Florida State, I guess. Clemson, Florida State, and we'll throw Miami in there because they do have it. The rivalry games are important, and that's what those guys fought for. Again, a rivalry that's been going on since 1957, before conference. I think before Florida joined the SEC. Maybe Florida was.
So what? Okay, so tell me what you're saying here. Are you trying to suggest
no other way?
Are you suggesting that the SEC was ducking the ACC?
No, I'm not suggesting the SEC was. I'm suggesting that there's some schools that showed where their rank is in the SEC, and they're not their logo holds no weight. Alabama's logo holds the weight because the only schools that this doesn't affect are the schools in the SEC West.
Man,
and that's who made the decision. And that's who pushed.
Are you serious?
Okay, don't defend it with emotion. Defend it with fact. Who does Alabama
I just
play?
gave you the fact.
Who does Alabama play outside of conference every year that they do?
I'm talking about Alabama. I'm talking about Georgia. That's who you brought up.
I'm talking about schools who hold weight in the SEC. What I'm saying is Georgia and Florida's logo holds no weight because if their logo held weight, okay.
Come on, man.
Who's the only schools that affects?
You talked about Georgia and Florida, so those
Georgia, Florida, South Carolina.
So those are the ones that affect us. The ones you brought up,
Georgia and Florida. The ones that it
so
doesn't affect. The SEC West made they put their gonads on the table and said this is what we're going to do. And
that is ridiculous.
They did so they are having.
You're not having the answer. Number one is I just gave you the answer.
What's
the end of the season does not need to be defined. That's silly to go right now. Okay, our end of the season game is Florida State. You don't even know when the end of the season is.
Right.
Nobody even knows when the beginning of the season is.
That's the parameters that you put it on. Here's an example. Again, facts. Before Miami joined the ACC, Miami was an out-of-conference school. Correct. Right? We can agree with that. Did Florida State play? Traditionally, Florida State plays Miami the fifth week of the season, fifth week of the season, no matter what. But you know what you can do with out-of-conference games? You can move them.
Man,
when there was a money
game. Are you really comparing that to a time when we're even wondering if there's football about the ability to move?
No, what I'm suggesting is it does not have to be at the end of the season. That's what you're suggesting.
It does. When you back your season to September 26th, that was the first move. When you take your season to September 26th, and you've got 11 weeks to play 10 conference games.
I agree.
It does have to be.
When you make decisions based upon what's convenient for the SEC West, it does backdate you, and it makes you not have much more. And I agree with you. It's what's best for their conference. I get it. But the dogs, the big dogs, made the decisions, and the big dogs made the move. It happens.
That's so come on.
It happens, man. It's okay.
You're trolling now. I know you don't really believe that. You are completely trolling right now.
I mean, do I not believe that Alabama's the big dog in the SEC and whatever?
You believe that Alabama made the decision for them not to play Florida State.
Here's what I'm going to know: the +1, which happens to affect Florida State. But here's what I will say: if Alabama had a year in and year out rivalry that was outside of the SEC, I know for a fact it would have been a 10 game
plan. Come on, Jay.
I'm just saying. No, you would Nick Saban not get his way?
I don't know, but that's not the reason why
I'll give you that. At least you can say I don't know.
I have no idea because we don't have that.
But again, they don't. That's the point.
See, we sat here and went through this whole ACC schedule last night, and I didn't troll at all. I didn't say anything about y'all bringing Notre Dame in with open arms that actually makes y'all have a legitimate conference.
It helps.
And right off the bat, you want to troll on the SEC.
It's no troll. It's what happened. But here's what I
will. Florida's scared to play Florida State in a year where they were beat them by 40.
Hey, we can suggest and that could possibly happen. I don't know. But we won't know. We won't know now.
Man.
The one thing that's consistent is we have no idea if that would happen or not. It would have happened if Alabama wanted it to happen, but it didn't. But what I will say is this, though, is that I can, for a fact, say that when you dropped Eastern Washington, was it Wagner? No, mine was playing Wagner.
Well, mine was Wagner. It was like New Mexico State.
Yeah, New Mexico State, whatever other directional school. When you drop those three and Florida State, because that's probably major conference, just should the schedule go up too. And you have to pick up Bama, possibly Bama, Texas A&M. Like I will say, like that's
I don't even want to like.
That's big.
We don't know the schedule. That's the rumor is that they're taking the next.
Now they give y'all Arkansas, and
I'll tell you why Arkansas could happen because they're being intrigued with Felipe. I don't know what the SEC is going to do, but
still might want to see that.
But I mean, the reality is if they give Arkansas and Mississippi State, that makes our schedule harder as a whole.
No,
anyway.
The reality, the messed up part is that Arkansas hasn't won a conference game in like 2 years.
No.
Now they're going to go defeat
again
the whole season.
Man, come on. Again, irrelevant. What I'm saying is they got the date right. The September 26th date. I will sit here. What is today? Today the 30th. I will sit here on July 30th, and I will say I don't think any college is going to play consistent games, regardless of the start date. So why even act like you're going to start week 0 Oklahoma? Like that's silly.
I just think this is either if you're going to cancel, if you feel in your heart at this juncture that there's any possible way that you're not going to finish the season and you want to cancel it, just cancel it. Cancel it now. Like, honest to God's truth, do it now so that people don't have to keep delaying the inevitable and having hope. Because
man, don't do that because we got nothing to talk about.
Oh, I believe they can make it happen, but I don't want them to do it. I believe it's a lazy argument, not argument. Excuse me, a lazy move. But I will give it some credence because it's a move nonetheless. Like right now, all they're doing is just saying we're going to keep kicking the can down the road and hope for the best. No, make a deliberate decision, and then once you have this, so September 26th for the SEC, September 7th for the ACC. That is your hard date. Now put every protocol in there and make it.
Do you believe that there will be a week 0 game that Oklahoma plays?
I think they'll get it. If they really want to get it in, they can get that.
Do you believe that the ACC will start September 7th?
That one I'm not 100% sure of. I want to see how they manipulate the schedule, but yeah, if they all have,
because they're playing 11, right?
Because this is what I think should happen, and I'm of the more I chewed on it, the more I thought about it. Injuries are a part of the game. Now, COVID is a little bit different than an injury, right? But if you lose like with the Marlins and looking at that, if you lose 14 guys to COVID in any given season, you can lose 14 players to a rash of injuries. It sucks that it has to be COVID plus the injuries, but that's why you have 120 players on your roster. And your protocol, even if it's your players that broke protocols, that's not the opponent that you're playing against fault. You need to put those guys in quarantine. They need to miss the amount of games that are allowed. Whoever gets it. I don't care if it's De'Aaron King.
So what? Okay, but what about the rules that we read a couple weeks ago that say if you were in close contact, you've got to quarantine for 14 days, regardless.
They're going to have to.
They got to change that, right?
They're going to have to clearly define it to where there's no gray area. when it comes to what close contact means.
Wouldn't
Or they're
practice
going to
be-
have to. That's what I'm saying. Like practice can't be if one guy has it. Like that's like work.
Because I agree with you.
Because the thing is, if you put it as practice, anybody at close contact, so practice, you can't be there.
I mean, it's a huddle.
I would say close contact would be. I would say close continued contact. And what that means is, yeah, you're in a huddle, but you're in a huddle for 10 seconds. Maybe a little bit.
What about meeting room?
A meeting room is close continued contact.
So you got to split up the.
Yeah, you got to split it up, or you have to be able to prove that you have the different safeguards that are in place with that. But I would say, like, if it's your roommate, like right now, how this sounds terrible, but the way we are right now, we have enough distance. But if we were doing this, if we lived together, and we're not wearing masks, we're not doing things, this is close continued contact that it's reasonable to believe that until tested, that person across from me may have it.
Sure.
Now, when I test that person and I find out that they don't have it, I need to correct them. But there's even with that, there's way outside of practice, you can't control that. Meeting rooms, you might not have the mental focus there, but they've been doing Zoom meetings this long. Continue doing Zoom meetings. Just let them be around the stage.
That's actually a fair point. I actually hadn't thought about that, but that's a fair point.
But as far as
and bring them in at different times to work out, to lift, and all that stuff.
But as far as like your living arrangements, there's not that many students on campus right now. You have the space in the room to let these guys let them flex. Let them have their own room for the first time in history for a little bit.
I don't disagree with anything you just said. I just also recognize there needs to be a rule change with that.
Yes.
And I also firmly believe that the later you push, the better. And I'll explain myself because we've seen this before. And we're watching something right now on our TV that kind of proves this point. I'll explain why the SEC got this right and what we can look at that proves they got it right when we come back. That's coming up next. Dang.
Are they going to keep playing your recordings?
Wine and Spirits. Make sure you get to ABC. It's Thursday night, so I think Thursday or early Friday is the best day to go to ABC.
Yeah. Might check it out tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Hit my dog up, see if you want to go do a cigar thing.
A cigar thing? A pairing?
Yeah, period. That's it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm here for you, man.
Mine went blank.
I'm here for you. Yeah, get to ABC locations all over town, so there's going to be one near you. Get out there. You won't go anywhere else once you go to ABC. All the best selection, all the best prices, all that kind of stuff. And it's a beautiful store, especially the new ones. Get out to ABC. Support the people that support us if you like us, or even if just a little bit. You don't have to like us. If you don't hate us, then go support the people who support us. Talking about the SEC and talking about why I think they got it right. We're watching the NBA opening night right now. We're seeing the NBA go now weeks without a positive test. When the NBA first announced that they were going to the bubble concept, the thing that all of us got onto the NBA about was, why are you not starting until the 30th? Mm-hmm. The reality is, looking back, it was the right move. It let them work out the kinks other than people going to Magic City for wings, which you can't control. It let them work out the kinks. It let them work out the testing. If you remember the first week of the bubble, people were complaining about the food. We don't really hear any complaints about the bubble anymore. In fact, the bubble looks amazing.
Yeah, after you explained it, it made more sense. Like, it was just those, until they can get everybody in place.
Right.
The food had to be crap.
Now they're fishing.
Yeah.
They're playing golf.
Make the best of it.
They've got the barbershop. Like the bubble looks like something I would pay to go to.
I don't like the barbershop.
I mean, for me, a barbershop's a barbershop. Whatever.
I need my barber or like a guy who's certified, and I need like.
Well, you think they brought in like Edward Scissorhands in there? Like, I mean,
you don't know. Like, even there's a lot of people who say their barber's good and they like their barber, but they don't see. I think you can't see your hairline sometimes.
So if T-Wig was there,
I'm good. But I wouldn't want to go to like one shop, because then I believe like now we're spreading the COVID. Do they have rules? Is everybody wearing the mask?
Well, if they don't,
Is
none
it
of them
one
have
at
the
a time?
COVID.
Do I have to?
If you're in a bubble with nobody that has the COVID, how do you spread the COVID?
Oh, fair. That's a good point. That's a good point. They're in the utopia. They're in the COVIDtopia.
So my point being, they had this whole dang near 2-month jump on this thing. Now the big difference is obviously the SEC is not in a bubble. But to your point, if you can get in there, get a schedule, make these guys understand the importance of staying in your own room or whatever, give them, whatever entertainment they need without it being a risk, and you can get out of the way all of the shenanigans that they're going to do the first week or two till they learn the lesson. There's a blueprint for bringing people in and waiting 2 months to play.
Right.
And by the time, I know that everybody's heard about colleges going back months and months ago, but James, you and I know for a fact that up until the last week or two, it was on and off, on and off,
it's been on and off. And every time they think they have something solved, somebody gets it, then they send it back home. I said this the first time. I believe it was like June 7th, the first time that everybody went back. Well, a lot of FSU.
It was FSU was earlier than everybody.
And then they went back home, and then they waited until a little bit after.
Remember, FSU wanted to go mid-May.
Yeah. Once it should have been this. Once your ass gets here, you're not going back home.
Right, I agree. That was silly.
And if that's what I mean, like, yes, you can't create this bubble, but you can create a bubble-like atmosphere.
You can create your own bubble. You absolutely can.
You could have gotten this whole thing under control, relatively under control, really, really quick. You keep them there. If they get it, you have your quarantine rooms, which they already have at most of these universities. They stay there. Once they get healthy, then they come back into general population. You hire, even though people are like, your coaches ain't out there, they can't be around the kids anyway like that. Mm-hmm. But what you can do is, if you know your city, and I told Tag this when he first moved, he should have done a better job, and some of his staff. And I'll say this: I don't know what Coach Norvell has done, but Dugan is from Tallahassee. Dugan should know all the hole in the walls. And if he doesn't, he got family members that live there that do know the hole in the walls.
He's got your number.
Oh, got my number. Odell been there since not before I was born, but really close. Like, he should know. And he hasn't left. He left for 4 years. And if he don't know, he knows some people who know some people. And your other coaches who are relatively young, they need to be going into the community, finding out, so that you can have like I heard it was Paul Mitchell was joking about when Coughlin first got here, how Coughlin knew like where people were at. If you want to be Bobby Bowden,
Pete Mitchell.
is it Pete Mitchell? Oh,
Tight end.
Paul Mitchell. Yeah, Pete Mitchell. Tight end.
Yeah.
Played Boston College.
Paul Mitchell's a shampoo.
That's what it is. Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
You're a very masculine man.
Understandable.
I don't want to make it, but that guy's a multi-billionaire thing, Paul Mitchell. So I get some props. But my point is that if you want to be this person that Florida State fans is, Mike is a disciplinarian, he's kicking guy. You need to make sure you have your web spanned out all over that city. It ain't that big. It's really only 2 cities. It's 3 technically, but these guys would only know 2 of them. There's a college campus, which is effectively neutralized now because ain't no college students there. And then there's the city. And most of the kids ain't got no cars, so if you're going to the city, you only span it out 10 miles in a 10-mile radius from campus. You need to make sure you have them. Heck, I tell you, they too young to get a top flight, so you ain't got to worry about that. The moon, I don't know what the moon's doing, but it probably ain't jumping like because you can't go to no clubs. Find these house parties, have the police not necessarily arrest, but at least make you aware. Hey, there's a house party. I'm gonna drop, and you coaches do a drive-by.
Let me ask you something. So we talk about the NBA bubble and the way that you cannot do a college bubble. Why can't you? Why can't each campus do their own bubble? Why can't a school like Florida or Georgia or Florida State, who's got the resources that they have, why can't they provide for these kids what the NBA is providing on a smaller scale for their 85 students?
They can. They just want to believe that they don't.
They already
do.
That's my point. It's like, I don't, because when you look at the NFL, they're not doing a bubble, but you know what they are kind of doing? A bubble.
Right.
Like, it really is. They're making everything available for their guys.
I've told you do a bubble every year for 4 weeks. It's called fall camp.
Right. And you can make it, and the thought for fall camp historically has been it's hard, it's a grind. You can make it fun. Like, I mean, look at what Alabama, forget Alabama. Look at all their player lounges.
It's no way to not make it hard. But it's not.
It's
hard.
You don't do that for 15 weeks.
No. What I mean is, it's hard, but I had fun.
In hindsight or at the time?
Like, even during the time, there were times where, like, man, I don't feel like being here. But we'll get on, we had this big, now it's amazing. Everybody, it's probably the size of this TV right here. But that was the big screen TV, the box set. They had it built into something. And you know what we did? We watched movies. And we watched the same, whatever freshman year was, whatever Todd Williams wanted to watch. And it was always Hollywood Shuffle. I know Hollywood Shuffle like the back of my hand. We had leather couches. We sprawled out that unlimited Powerade machine, and we chilled. We watched movies. They got on the movies. Florida State had. I know Florida probably does too. They got a movie theater in the player lounge.
Well, you got a team meeting room that's nicer than most movie theaters.
Facts. You can set up. They got the heck. Florida was doing the Fortnite thing.
Yeah.
With the recruit, you can go set it in the IPF. You could go set it up, have them do. There's so many things that you can make sure the guys can do.
I was in FSU's meeting room in previous March, and they were showing us highlight films. Better sound than AMC, bro.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's more comfortable. They can. I mean,
they can
throw
the glass. They can throw the glasses on you, and now you got the 3D effect.
Yeah.
Like they got all the capabilities of doing that. They got the food there. They had the peanut butter and jelly. I don't know if the lady, I hope she didn't get furloughed, because that would be sad. But the lady who was making the on-demand peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, like, if she's still there, like, you got all the creature comforts.
Well, you can't imagine. I mean, we talk about this all the time. When people gripe about Florida's facilities, some people gripe about Florida State's facilities until their upgrades are done. Like, the average person walks in one of those places and they're like, wow, this is amazing. It's until you go see Clemson and Alabama. Florida State, Miami, all these places. Listen, to ask a young man to be quarantined, air quotes, in there for 15, 20 weeks is not the worst thing in the world if you're providing meals. Now, I know where you're going to go with this, with the young lady.
That's the only thing that they're missing. But
that's it.
So
that's absolutely it.
Everything else is better at the stadium than you could put. At least they're at your mom's house. Like I'm from Texas. I would have been from Texas. There wasn't really no things like that. If I'm somewhere, just don't send me back home. Like let me stay, and it's better here. I got better facilities, better equipment. If they put the sleep pods in, I'd probably never leave my locker.
Look at LSU's locker room.
It's posh. Alabama's new locker room, posh. It's really
Alabama's new locker rooms.
There's really no like you can. That's what like you can quarantine these guys, and it's all about it's about the culture of your team. Like
and they can get their education too. By the way, I don't want to offend anybody. They can have their education too.
Both schools, but that's why you know
what I mean. They can learn everything they need to learn. Right.
I'm sure I haven't seen. I've never been interested in seeing it since I've left. But I can tell you what our study hall looked like when I was there. There were like 20 little individual study rooms that you and your tutor can go in and y'all can go study without people. There is there was like a 50 computer lounge, which at this time
every player has iPads now.
Yeah, well, iPads. I'm saying like this was high tech then. Like you got every. Which we just went and did fake because Facebook had just got discovered like my senior year. Most people just were on Facebook the whole time, and then you got a whole bunch of other different things that you can go do. So you could go do online, get your online education, which is what most of these guys. I'm gonna tell you the bubble concept is practice right now for what college football and college athletics is geared toward anyway. Why you want the football only facility? Trevor Lawrence doesn't need to be in gym pop.
That's a great point.
Like Trevor Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence is one extreme. James Blackman is the other extreme. He doesn't need to be in gym pop after he's thrown 5 interceptions. I have seen how it works with
he doesn't need to be in gym pop after he throws 5 touchdowns.
No, but that's what I mean. I was using Trevor Lawrence more so the 5 touchdowns.
I got you.
And then it's like you're going to get all the attention that you don't need to where you can't get to class, like Jameis actually had. Then you're going to get all the attention to where you can't get to class because people are throwing stuff at you. I.e., I saw it happen with Chris Ricks. Mm-hmm. Like, people were like, yo, you suck. Why did you do like it's hard to go to class when everybody literally just saw you stink it up the day before and they think it's all your fault.
Yeah.
That's why I said let's be honest. NCAA, you went to Congress, you almost did the right thing. But let's just be for real. Like, we don't have to call them professionals, right? You don't have to pay them. Fine. But let's just go ahead and do everything necessary since we're saying these kids are heroes and we need them during this time.
So what your suggestion is give them all the creature comforts they need to stay put.
Best.
Sounds fair.
Like just whatever. Like
sounds fair.
Everybody need with the PS5 ain't came out yet, but they have 5,000 PS5s ready for pre-release. Work out some, I don't know where it is, Japan or China, one of them. Work it out with them. Buy all of them and give them to every school that's playing so that every kid has their own game. They ain't got games for it.
Agreed.
Just buy it. They these kids want to like charcuterie. Figure out how to make a little charcuterie station.
These kids like charcuterie?
I don't know.
Or do you just like charcuterie?
I like charcuterie. I had no idea what charcuterie was when I was in college.
I was gonna say, have you ever heard a college kid go, man, I'm craving some charcuterie?
I'm craving the cheese board, man. Like, did you see that? Bro, did you see the cheese boards that clips in that? But no, what I'm saying is whatever they're craving and then just really have them as a team.
Are you watching this?
No.
The NBA. Okay. The NBA is on right now. And there's the between quarter interview. Coach, broadcaster. Correct me if I'm wrong. Everybody's tested negative, correct? Am I wrong on this?
Yeah, but they're just being safe.
Okay. I got it. Both had on their mask doing the interview. Both were 6 feet apart doing the interview.
Does he have a lapel? He has a lapel mic on.
No, the dude was like this.
Oh.
It was like stretching like go gadget arms with the microphone. I'm sorry,
I don't think this is safe though because I was talking to my son and he was saying he was hooping and playing sports at the Redneck Survival Camp.
Right.
And they make him wear
they play basketball at the Redneck Survival Camp.
They're not a hoop there. He plays.
Okay.
He's an athlete. I don't know if he's a good athlete. I just know he's a better athlete than the people he's around, but obviously he's not around a lot of the people who are better athletes typically at this.
Right.
I got to get them around.
Right.
People.
Right.
I don't know where to put where to
Wrong
put
camp.
them. Yeah, I don't know where to put them there right now. I'm not dropping them off at the I'm not dropping them off in the north side just yet until Mad Dad slows down his commercial.
Mad Dad's having camp?
I would drop him off at Mad Dad. But my point is that he's wearing this thing that's like it's not quite a ski mask, but it covers like your face, but your eyes are open and your head is open. And he's having to do everything in that. If a 7-year-old can do it, I think the pros should have this thing over their face.
I do like the benches. If you're not watching this, it's on TNT right now. Utah.
Are those like benches? Are those actual benches?
So you see how they got them all spaced out up there?
Okay, so it's chairs and there's just a space in between each chair.
Yeah, that's actually awesome. Yeah.
Zion, RJ.
Zion lied does.
Zion look a little like RJ, man.
Zion lied does. When they posted that picture of Zion all yoked up. Remember that a couple weeks ago?
He fluffy. They edited. He had
it's a good angle.
That's what it is. Sometimes it's a good angle. That's your profile pic.
Right.
Like Zion, that's your Tinder or Bumble thing. Like that's the one you use right there. Because when they see you, they're not gonna be like, "Hey, that ain't you." But I'm like, that ain't you. But good fooling. Like he needs to, he was dehydrated.
Yeah, Zion is not. Yeah, Zion hasn't done what the golfer did. Rochambeau. Yeah, Rochambeau. Yeah, but right now there is live NBA on. I know RJ's probably not even listening to us. He's probably like dialed into this thing right now. He's been counting down the minutes. Clippers, Lakers coming up a little bit later tonight as well. In fact, we're RJ, like 30 minutes away from it? Are we going to lose you at 9 o'clock?
LeBron finna smash my man.
All right.
He about to crush on the computer.
You think?
Nah, just talking trash.
I'll be dialed in right here in the house watching. That's for dang sure. Let's take a break. When we come back, let's get to some NFL news. Buffalo Bills had an issue today. Sent some people back home. We'll get to that coming up next. humidor.com for all of your cigar needs. Huge selection, already low prices, and the Sports Den is helping you out because if you type in Sports Den, all one word, all lowercase, you get 20% off from thehumidor.com. Delivered to your house.
That's what I do.
What better way to do it?
It's like I get a surprise.
Because you were drunk and you forgot what you ordered?
Well, not necessarily drunk, but I just,
Hi.
There's so many boxes that come to my house on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah.
That it's just like, oh, wow, here's a box.
What has Amazon stock done since the quarantine? Like skyrocketed,
That's
I guess?
is like they're saying like he's gonna on track to be the first trillionaire.
Good for him.
He's the only person making money in the trap.
Ex-wife should have
waited a little longer. She got her cut. I mean, that's not a bad deal.
No.
I get it. You don't want to get I got that part, but like she's okay.
Yeah, she's not struggling. Before I get to the Buffalo Bills, have y'all noticed how? Remember when pre-quarantine we were talking about new stadium and Lot J?
Yeah, nobody's talking about Lot J. Man, I don't want to bother my dog. He got a lot going on right now.
Who?
Lenny.
I'm not talking about Lenny.
No, I'm just saying like that was the heavy part of Lot J, and everybody's like they just Little Shot is beefing with Jan, and it's just everybody's on is on.
What's gonna happen with Jan?
I don't know. I think he means business. I don't think he's gonna sign. I know he's petty. He's petty enough to not take the money.
He didn't report, obviously,
but he's not gonna put himself on the opt out.
The 350
he's
is
gonna
150.
He's gonna keep himself to where he's gonna be able to do something. We were talking about this on Jaguars today, and I'm like, everybody. I believe the Jags have themselves in a position where they can't go back. I believe Jan. I think there's enough money for them to be able to do the right thing. And if you really go back and you ask them, just like, hey, Dave, this isn't going to go into sports. It's just me and you. All things being said, $21 million for a defensive end ain't bad now. When you look at the contracts of Myles Garrett, you look at the contracts of Nick Bosa. I mean, Joey Bosa. You know what Nick Bosa is going to get. You know what, like the guys who are of caliber that are going to be coming up in
that league.
He's not 20. He's nowhere near 28 million. But right now,
is that what Bosa?
Yes, it's like 28 a year, 27, 28
Was
a year.
it really?
Yeah, but if you ask me now, is he worth 22?
Okay.
I can see 20, and you have the money. Yeah.
Yeah. I just listen. Better man than I am if you can sit out.
But then,
not get 17.
I'm gonna go get this money. That's what I
mean. 17.8 mil is a lot of money. A lot more money than he's made thus far. Of course, Ngakoue did not report to camp. Everyone else did. Doug Marrone said he hasn't heard from Yannick Ngakoue. Doesn't know when to expect him. Of course, Jags say they won't move him until they get the offer they like.
Which means that they're going to they'll be foolish if they don't move him by the trade deadline. And if they don't, they just fulfill every stereotype that people have of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, I can play devil's advocate on that though. With what they went through with Jalen, you do have to at some point stop the whole. Well, if you just asked to be traded and pitch a fit,
no,
I get you.
I agree,
but if you get a first rounder, you definitely like what saved them with Jalen was what they got in return.
It's not just Jalen now, but that's the way of the league. Jamal Adams essentially did the same thing, whether you agree with them or not.
Right. No, you're
but
right.
Even with the handling of the Jalen situation, it's just like you're the ones who have the bad reputation. Jalen's still ranked 37th in the league per his peers. Like he's gonna go and flourish, and he's gonna be one of the many guys that leave your franchise and go on to have prosperous careers, which is not a good look on you. The only thing you have that you can do is you can franchise tag him again. But now all you're doing is really living up to the billing after you just did everything that you needed to do to prove that you're not as bad when Coughlin was here. You're just going back and proving that, hey, we don't really care about the players.
I don't think any of that matters. Like
if you're paying high money, nobody cares.
No, where I was going at, it doesn't matter what you do with Yannick Ngakoue. If you win 5 games, it's the narrative's still the same. If you go out and somehow win 10 or 11, all is healed. regardless of what you do with Unique Ngakwe.
Right, but my thing is any GM who just lets somebody walk away and gets nothing
Oh no, I
is
agree.
a fool. And if you don't get, that's what I'm saying. You don't trade them by the trade. And then what people are like, yeah, that's what what shots the young
Tony.
So that's right, Tony. You go out there and you get him. No, all you did was show that there is a real rift. And if I'm a GM of a team, it was. I love the penny. But what I'm saying from a business perspective, if I'm looking like this, oh, you don't like him and he doesn't like you. Why in the hell would I give you a first round? Let me wait around to the 6th. Let me wait around to week 6. If we're making a playoff push, then I'll trade for him. And I'm not going to give you what you want because I don't have to, because you're going to take this 3rd round, what you drafted him for, which isn't bad. It's not less. There are guys who traded. There's guys who traded.
If they only get a 3rd round pick for Unique Ngakwe,
it just shows that you got to be at a certain point, but somebody has to be mature. And I'm cool with it. I'm all for the petty if you can deal with the consequences. But
well, having interest in having, getting a 1st round pick's 2 different things.
right.
If I'm the Jags, there's no way at this point that I take anything less than a 1st.
I just don't think the only franchise dumb enough to do that for them is the Jets, and that's because they just got some capital.
If the Raiders offered a 1st, how did you even let that fester long enough to let them change their mind? Uh-huh. No. Jamal Adams is twice the player Unique Ngakwe is. And I don't mean that like in a negative way towards Unique Ngakwe. He can just do more because of his position.
Right. That's fair. Because he hasn't had any drop off. Like Unique's at the safety position, you can't avoid it. He's either going to get tackles or he's going to defend passes.
And he does a lot more than either than one of those.
And if, to Unique's point, is if we're down 2 scores, NFL teams are mailing it in. They're keeping them. They're now running the ball, and he's not a run stopping defensive end. That's not.
I would like to
go
back though. I would like to go back because I don't remember. I'm sure in some of the games it was like that, but I don't remember teams just running the clock out against the Jags.
They may not.
There was that couple week span where they got just throttled. But I'd have to go back and look at like run pass ratio in second halves and stuff like that. But to Unique's point, you'd have to dig deeper than that because it could be all short game, extended running game type stuff.
Right.
Even in the passing game. But Jamal Adams, I said this last night, that's a different dude. I don't think it's not fair to Unique to compare him to Jamal Adams. And it's not a slight against Unique Ngakwe. Just like I said last night, in case you missed it, I've had a chance with NFL quarterbacks to watch film of Jamal Adams this year. He does things that only Jamal Adams can do. And if you're a defensive coordinator that knows how to use Jamal Adams, man, he don't have to make a single play to affect a game with his skill set. Yeah, I don't think those people know everything Jamal Adams does. I don't think they've really sat down and watched Jamal Adams' film and see the way that he impacts the game. Like, if they gave up, 2 first rounds?
Yeah.
What are the odds they pick a Jamal Adams at 26?
Or none. But the bigger thing is the Seahawks are used to not having first-round draft picks. And they make the most of it. If Jamal Adams gives them everything they need over the next 3 years and they're able to play in a Super Bowl, it was well worth it.
No doubt. The Buffalo Bills sent their rookies home from the team's facility Thursday as a response to positive corona tests this week. I don't know how many rookies. Let me see if I can find out how many rookies they have. Like the Jags have 30, I think? 30 rookies coming in. So if you said the Jags sent all their rookies home because of positive corona test, I would say that they would have to have 10 to justify that.
Yeah.
The Bills have 5. They have 5 positive coronavirus tests. It doesn't say how long they're sending them home. It doesn't say anything about that. They were quoted as saying, as we were informed by medical experts as training camp opened, we expected to have positive tests for COVID. With 5 since the beginning of the testing period last Tuesday, we decided to take a disciplined, proactive, and preventative approach to hopefully eliminate additional cases within our team. If we're going to start sending teams home because of 5 positive tests, we're going to have a hard time getting through training camp, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why you would send them home, though. Wouldn't that be like the worst? I think sending somebody home is the worst thing. You're sending them back to where they got the positive test from.
Right.
Quarantine them where you're at so that that you can monitor them. And
the rest of them, not the positive ones, like the rest of them that keep them away from bringing it back in. The ones that are positive are already positive. They got to be away anyway.
Right.
So you're sending a bunch of people who don't have positive tests away from the environment you control.
Real quick, I want to give you this breakdown because I found it.
Okay.
So rushing yards, 113, 126, 91, 68, 285, 104, 33, 46, 216, 264, 219, 74, 195, 128, 135, 132.
What rushing yards?
That was
against the Jags.
Against the 4. That's a lot, except for 3 games.
Now, a couple of those games, because you think about the Carolina game, they didn't have to throw from jump.
The Carolina was one of them, 160 passing yards, 285.
You remember they took some dude out the stands who rushed for 80.
The Texans ran for 216 though. The Colts ran for 264. Derek ran for 219.
James, can I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
Doesn't that kind of prove the people that say Unique is not worth $25 million, right? That he's on the field with somebody who's rushing for 300 yards, 250 yards?
I mean, Calais' job was to help stop that.
I agree.
Marcel Darius was one of those guys that helped. That's not what Unique was.
Miles Garrett is.
Yeah, Miles Garrett. That's
Bosa is.
That's what those guys were. This is also a league that values the pass rush. See Dante Fowler making his 16.
So do you think Unique Ngakoue, if he goes somewhere else, if he was a free agent right now, how much do you think he would?
I think if he would have went free agency this year, he would have probably got 20. Somebody would have given him 20.
I wouldn't be mad if the Jags gave 20.
And to me, it's just when you have the money. It's not that you don't have it; you have it, and it's one of your guys that you brought up. Just give him the 21.
The real story was you could have given him 19 the right way last year,
and that would have ended all of this. But it ended all of this.
We wouldn't even be talking about it right now.
But yeah, my bad. I just looked it up and I was wanted to get that in. But you can't send everybody. That's not protocols. That's not good protocols. That's not. You know what? I don't care. You said Cincinnati did it? Buffalo. Good, great. I don't like Buffalo anyway. Or Chris Brown. Ever since that, the guy Chris Brown writes for him that said that Buffalo Bills were going to beat us. There's 5 ways the Buffalo Bills were going to beat us, and all 5 of the ways they were going to beat us, we were better than them by exponential difference. But
2 of which we were number 1 in the league.
Yeah, we're going to outrush them. The way to beat the Jaguars is that we have to have a better run game than them. Oh yeah, by the way, their running game is much improved, and their run game is the number 1 run game. And but we're going to be better than them all of a sudden. Just hate stupid people. I hope he got fired due to the COVID. It would have been justified. The NFL saved some money.
I said that I thought that the NFL would be hovering around 10%, or at least the Florida teams be hovering around 10%, just because I'm using what the state average is, which is the only thing I know to use. Well, that's if there's 12, 13%, and they're sending everybody home. I never thought that if the Jags had 90 guys report and 10 or 12 of them were positive, it never crossed my mind that they would send everybody home.
That just doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I'm not the brightest bulb, but I agree with you. To go, okay, hey, y'all all scatter to places that we don't know and stay away from the facility for a couple of weeks.
Like, how long are they going home?
I don't know. They didn't say that. I don't know if it was just like a. I mean, if it's a. Well, it doesn't make any sense in any way, does it?
No, it doesn't. Unless they're saying, hey, y'all just leave, go home. Go home, like.
Come back tomorrow.
So, yeah, come back tomorrow.
Let us figure stuff out.
But if it's like, nah,
I
just bought y'all a plane ticket, I'm going to buy y'all another one. Get out of here.
But I just thought of something. So if you have 5 people test positive, and I don't know, we've heard all these different things about coronavirus. Let's say it takes 5 days for it to show up in a test. Maybe that is smart. Maybe they do have 10 more that are spreading it throughout the facility. But my point is, if you're going to do that, you're going to have a really hard time getting through training camp. And it almost takes us full circle to where we started this thing that September 26th may be the right move for college football to work through all this kind of stuff.
I just think inept organizations and people who don't have good protocols should be punished with by having to do stupid stuff.
By getting COVID?
By getting COVID. Sorry, there's no other way to put it. Like
you're inept. Yeah. You get COVID.
Miami Marlins, your guy, you couldn't keep your guys like secured where they should have been. You deserve
the adult chicken wing establishment.
You deserve to have 14 guys get COVID. You deserve to lose your games. If you lose games because you have to dip into your 60-man pool, then that's just God's will. That's just the way it's gonna go.
It's God's will. All right, we gotta get to 8:00. We're rolling right along here. We're less than a couple of minutes away from Lakers Clippers tip off as well. Utah and New Orleans tied at 102, by the way, with 48 seconds left inside the bubble in Orlando.
Really
opening night. I guess not opening night because they've already played. The restart of NBA.
It's a lot of sloppy basketball being played.
It's still fun to watch.
Yeah, it's better than not.
Yeah. 8:00 coming up next. RJ? You see this Dr. Fauci stuff? Now he's recommending you wear goggles along with your mask.
What's wrong?
No, it was just my bad. I was reading some in this overflow chat group in my group. They just went in on somebody. They said, "I hope we Herman Cain you."
Air quality. Loose air quality, LUCE, airquality.com. Environmental testing for your home or your business. Get to Loose Air Quality. I'm sorry, I'm reading the back of these jerseys. Like while I'm trying to talk about this, watching the NBA game, which is still tied.
I'm glad you brought that up because now that made me remember what my hated clock was.
Anyway, Loose Air Quality. Get there for environmental testing. If you've got mold issues in your house, you need to find out. You need to get that dealt with. Loose Air Quality can do that. You don't know anybody that does this. We're telling you who does it. The best, Loose Air Quality, locally owned and operated. Make sure you get over there to them for all of your air quality needs.
Is that the guy?
Yes, that's Rudy Gobert.
They should just put a scarlet letter.
I know. I wish you would have missed the free throw. Loose Air Quality, 904-803-1014, LUCE airquality.com. The NBA is rigged. I'm sorry, but you cannot sell to me that with 6 seconds in the first game that they come back, that Rudy Gobert, which is where all this stuff started,
He's the one.
hits the 2 free throws to go ahead. RJ, I'm with you. I love the NBA. That's not right, bro.
You got a good point, man.
Yes.
I'm with you when you're right.
Now, if New Orleans comes back and hits a 3-pointer to win,
and Zion's the one who hits it,
right, then all is right with the world. But I cannot watch a game where Rudy Gobert wins the game. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Rudy Gobert was the first NBA player to have the COVID, and he's the one that, he thought was funny, went and rubbed all the microphones of the reporters and coughed on people and stuff like that. And James is not watching the game. He's watching a Popeye's chicken.
I thought that was ice cream at first.
I lost James because a Popeye's commercial came on.
Wow. That was good product placement, though.
That was hysterical. I look at James, I see him behind the TV. I'm like, what am I missing? And then it's a Popeye's commercial. So 6.9 seconds left in the Utah-New Orleans game, 106-104 Utah. Rudy Gobert with the 2 go-ahead free throws. 8 o'clock. I'm going to try to make this not political, but I don't even care at this point. Cool with the mask.
Right.
Makes sense to me. And Rudy Gobert won the game. Dadgummit, RJ. Are you kidding me? Rudy Gobert hits the 2 free throws that wins the first game back.
That's no. Who's the big dude that just said bump to get on the way?
What in the world, man?
I'm not dapping him up.
No, something's fishy about this. I'm sorry.
He don't look like he got it all the way out of his system. I trust him.
That's unbelievable.
And he's like,
Who thought of that script?
they just need to get the game over with so they can get to the game that everybody can.
Well, then let somebody else shoot the free throws. Don't tell me it's Donovan Mitchell. Oh, come on, Donovan.
How's LeBron's hair? Okay.
Oh. The minute James asked how LeBron's hair fits. On TV, LeBron goes down.
Man, this is egregious, man. Come on, man.
Oh boy, I'm sorry. We've taken a bad turn here, but Rudy freaking Gobert wins the game. Anyway, so what I was saying, James, is I'm cool with the mask. No problem with the mask. And don't tweet me, don't at me, telling me like I'm being a sheep or whatever. Like, I don't care what you have to think. Like, I'm okay. If I'm around somebody I don't know and I'm wearing a mask and they're wearing a mask, in my small brain, it makes sense that that's a little more prudent, protective. I draw the line at the goggles, bro.
Right.
Not wearing the goggles. Okay, I'm not. I'm the mask. I don't know. I can't say this for sure if that's my limit, but I think it's my limit. Like, I'm not wearing the goggles.
Okay.
I wear glasses already.
That's good. Like, those are your bifocal. Where you got those are your goggles.
But how long until we see cats walking around with the mask and full on like zero air getting in between goggles?
I don't think that's necessary. Can't be, right?
I mean, I don't know. No, did Kareem? They didn't have a mask on.
They didn't wear
and
it.
they were playing a sport.
They didn't wear it when just walking around.
I give it 1 week, RJ, before we walk in and we see you in there with the mask and goggles.
It's not very comfortable, by the way. I thought I was going to be Eric Dickerson one year because you can get medical. You can get the medical.
Right. Yep.
And I was like, all right, cool. I'm supposed to wear glasses. I'm like, all right, man, let me put these. And they're like digging into you. You got to keep adjusting them. And it's just not cool. Eric Dickerson made it look way more alive than what it really was. And,
well, the fact that he's rushing for 2,000 yards makes
that probably makes it.
Yeah. If you see Eric Dickerson on kickoff team wearing those, it don't look as cool.
Right, that's fair.
Yeah, not nearly as cool. But I can't. I mean, I also said 3 months ago when I was 6 months ago when I was in the Los Angeles airport, and before I knew anything about coronavirus, and I saw a bunch of people wearing masks, I was like, who would walk around wearing a mask? They can't be comfortable.
The masks are only bad when you don't practice really good oral hygiene.
Or you eat something.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, That's like when you eat something like with heavy
onion cells have to be down.
Yeah, because like when you put that mask on, man, it's just there. It ain't got nowhere else to go. The cloth masks are better because it kind of it's more breathable. But when you put that surgical, the little blue one, God forbid the people, whatever the real one is, I couldn't. Not that one I couldn't wear. But if it's just a cloth mask, and that's what gets people makes you. Sometimes there are things that you do to make yourself just feel more comfortable. It's placebo.
Right.
Whether it works or not, it's like I got some friends who are like, Superman, you doing that's what the man asked you to do. Like, man, everybody complies to something. Like you gotta. I don't necessarily like wearing seatbelts. I don't care about that. It's me if I get in a wreck. But it's part now that I know I can get a ticket. You know what? I click it a lot more than I do than I used to. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of texting and driving. I've slowed that down a little bit more since they've been trying to do. I tell people people get on me and they're like, you shouldn't do that. Don't you know distracted driving exists? I'm like, so you mean to tell me that the lady driving with the badass kids in the back, sipping on a soda, eating a Big Mac, driving with her knees, it has more control over her car than I do. And the police officer who can give me the ticket, who has a cell phone, a laptop, and a police scanner is going to be is more focused on the road than the guy who actually got paid to process a bunch of different information at the same time before he had to complete a test. I had to diagnose a blitz, figure out how I was going to get there, track said person.
You sound very much like the anti-mask people.
But what I'm saying is, this is why I understand what the anti-mask people feel like. But you know what I do? I just do it.
I got you.
I don't come out here and say.
But are you going to argue with me on this? You going to draw the line at the goggles?
I would draw the line at the goggles. I'm not wearing goggles. Man. I'm not doing it. Can't do it. Like you won't. I will wear glasses because I like wearing glasses. It makes me feel more distinguished. Like I've been wearing.
I'd have to wear the glasses.
I need to get to prescribed, but I like doing it. It's not a problem.
For those wondering what we're talking about,
but
Dr. Fauci said today that goggles will help protect you as well.
Well, one of the things that I found out is like one of the doctors who was originally on this, that's how they got it. On a plane, somebody sneezed. It wasn't through the nose or the mouth. It was through the eyes.
Man, listen, if they're on a plane, sorry.
Well, this was before like all of the stuff really kicked up, and I'm a little nervous because I'll talk to you about that out there. But it's
great.
It's no, it's not bad. It's not. Anyway, it ain't like that. But my point is I'll do things within reason. I'm not wearing goggles. I'm not making the eyeglass. And I'm going to be woke person for this one. This has got to be some secret government conspiracy to track my eyes. Like now
they're 5G goggles.
5G goggles by the glass company, the eyeglass companies. They're trying to make them
owned by Bill Gates.
Yeah. And George Soros, whatever. Soros, whatever. Like I just like everything. I'm with you guys. There are conspiracies. Mm-hmm. Our government's shady as hell. There's a lot of bad things. And as a black guy, I 100. That's why until I met Doc C, I never really went to the doctor like that. Because I didn't trust doctors, and I have very good reasons. I have family who was part of the Tuskegee experiment. My great granddaddy lived to be 90, and he wasn't sick until he went to the doctor. He was perfectly fine. Well, this is what he said. He's like, I was feeling good until I went to the doctor. Then I went to the doctor and they told me that I was dying and everything was gone. So but I trust Dr. Capasso. That makes me want to go. But I also am sound enough to know that not going to the doctor and not trusting doctors almost got me killed.
Yeah.
Fine. I wish I could be super militant, but I've also tasted success of having some money in my pocket, and I got young kids. I want to be around for a little bit longer, and if wearing a mask helps that, I don't know if it does or not, but I know not wearing the mask doesn't help.
Why is it that now all of a sudden I said I'm not going to wear goggles, my eyes are itching?
Because it's the man. Man. They know what your thoughts. It's the same reason when you're thinking about something. Like I've been thinking about buying med balls for the house, and all of a sudden, boom, med balls. Like I ain't never seen. Have you ever seen a med ball advertisement?
No.
I have seen med. I didn't even I owned a gym and didn't know. Like didn't really know exactly where to go find med balls at. Like didn't know there were companies that's all they did. Like I knew how to buy one, but I had to buy them in stock with other weight equipment. I didn't know that this is all they specialize in med.
I think everybody's got that story. Like ours is, we were talking about, Angie and I were talking about, we need to get our house pressure washed a couple years ago.
Boom.
I pick up, go on Facebook, and there's a pressure washing. You know what I did? Called it.
I mean, listen, a lot of times I think
I'm all for it. Listen to me.
I'm scary. I'm not scared. Like especially when I was doing the crypto stuff and I found out about how crypto had its original sources. That first spooked me out a little bit, but then I thought about, man, I'm not about to do a government overthrow. So I ain't got really big secrets like that. Like, so if you want to read my brain, cool. Do it. Just make my life more convenient. Dope. I ain't got no problems with that. But my hate o'clock is not similar at all, but it's this. It's what we're seeing right now with the NBA.
This is somebody who said this.
Okay. No, yeah, I don't want Dominion goggles. So partially my hate o'clock is LeBron having the NBA championship logo branded in his head. I think that's taking it too far. Wait a minute. Is Magic City playing in this game?
No.
Oh man, that's tough.
No.
I think he should. I think he heard it. But anyways. Wow, Reggie Jackson looks just like I would think of Reggie. Anyway, all right, my bad. The thing is the NBA, the NCAA, all these corporations are doing all of this action.
You just went Reggie off of Nutty Professor.
I'm just I'm saying does it not look like I don't watch. I don't watch basketball like that. So when I see, I'm like, oh wow. You told me, what is Reggie Jackson? Who's Reggie Jackson? It's just that picture. Like, hey, that's Reggie for a fact. Anyways, they got these guys being able to wear shirts. Jerseys, but they don't have to have their name on the back. They can have the different causes that they're supporting. And I've seen the people who are literally every day talk about, well, if you don't like it, leave. And why are you complaining? but yet they complain about everything that other people are complaining about. So everybody's trying to out-complain each other. But my head, and this looks bad because this looks like really bad 2K. The stand, the fans in the stand.
Right. Yeah, go ahead.
They are doing everything except what people are asking for. Like, I'm with you people. Like, when you people, you know who you people are. When they're talking about playing the Star, not Star Spangled Banner, Lift Every Voice and Sing, I like the song. I think it's a dope song. Personally, I don't care if they play that or not. I didn't ask for that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We don't have a black convention or anything like that. But nobody's had a convention. But I promise you that would not have been NFL bump making the Rooney Rule or something like that actually exist.
Mm-hmm.
Like to help get people qualified and make it functional. Damn it, play Lift Every Voice and Sing. That's what we need. That's what
Also
we need.
known as the Biden.
I'm cool with it, but I ain't asked for that. I'm cool with letting these people, like, if you want to say her name, like the guys, that's what Twitter's for. Like, you're not bringing any more awareness by talking about Breonna Taylor, which you should, on your jersey. Talking about Black Lives Matter on the basketball court. Talking about all these things like that. You're doing everything except for, like, if you want to help NBA, you really want these guys' voices to be heard, use your political, not necessarily political, your money influence to actually help bring policy and change. I think we were just talking about Walmart, and we were talking about the actual foundation. I don't need you to give $100 million to a foundation that I know, to a nonprofit that we all know how nonprofits work in general. Take that $100 million. Black Lives Matter. Take that $100 million that you were going to invest into them, and put that into development programs to help create qualified minorities to be able to take executive positions, so that your company can go into the 21st century. Invest it into the communities, or find people who have products that are in the communities that you have these mega stores in, and put their product on the shelf and help people find it. Give discounts to them to be able to do it. Nobody's looking for a handout. Give people a hand up, and stop doing rhetoric, and stop doing all these other symbolic stuff. We've been doing symbolic stuff. I saw something that popped up on my timeline. It was terrifying. It was about a bunch of people mad about protests in the 60s for the civil rights movement. And if you go on my Facebook page and you watch the video, and you don't just watch it, you listen to it, you will hear the exact same arguments that you are hearing today. So what that means is progress is, while it looks like it's a lot, if we're arguing about the same things, we ain't made no progress. No matter what you want to say, like, it's literally, when I talk about going to their communities, that was the argument. They're lazy. Like, all the counter arguments that are lazy arguments in general were being said then. But I will say the only thing that happens is maybe the media is more liberal, and that's why you do see more of these things happening. But I will tell you this: putting that on the basketball court does absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm.
Except for, in some ways, create more division.
Right. Mm-hmm. And the division part isn't what I'm really
I got you.
For or against. I don't care. But what I want you to do is take that money that you put into that and put that into a community, or put that toward really putting the pressure on politicians to make common sense laws to where we don't have to have that. To where you know, or if we have real people in power, and I don't mean real people, but like, if we have people who can make us think outside of our normal day-to-day, like, you have people who don't look like you actually have true diversity in your office, and it's not just hiring a rapper for a certain amount of time. It's actually hiring an exec that this is what they do. They're trained to do this, and you're going to listen to them day in and day out. You would know that life is more than a hashtag. But these guys are doing a great job using their platforms. I just think the companies that are backing them can do a lot more with their platforms as opposed to this.
Fair enough. We've got to take a break. We're running a little bit behind here. Let's take a break. We'll come right back. Here we open up the show talking about the big SEC news of the day. 10 conference games starting September 26th. No plus ones coming out of the SEC, meaning it will only be conference games. The one thing I forgot to mention, James, is big difference between the ACC and the SEC. The ACC is doing away with divisions.
Yeah, they're still keeping the divisions.
Yeah. So the ACC is going top 2 overall winning percentage. The SEC is keeping their divisions intact. And so it'll be the champion from each division playing in the SEC championship game. Which way do you like better? I kind of like the division format a little bit.
I think the divisions need to be redone.
And the SEC too, or if with the ACC with Notre Dame?
And it sucks for the West.
Because the SEC is keeping their schedule.
Right. It sucks for the SEC West. Because you would have to put Missouri in. But there's a team that there's got to be, without looking at the actual SEC, I don't know which team. But there's got to be a team that you can shift over to the East and bump and keep Missouri in the West. Because right now it doesn't.
Well, technically it would have to be Auburn or Alabama. Like that's the furthest east. That's not in the East.
Well, I mean, I guess if you did that,
you know what I mean.
Then that would make the East and way too tough.
I mean, though, it's just it doesn't happen with this very often, but it's this way in way in the SEC. The 2 best teams are on opposing sides, and it have been Georgia and Alabama. Yeah.
Is it like each side has the exact same amount of teams?
Yeah.
They might just need to get an odd team. Bring somebody else in.
Bring 2 more in.
Bring 2 more in, and then and just make them eat more southeastern, and then drop them and let Missouri. Because what doesn't make sense. Well, it would make sense if Georgia didn't have to go to Missouri, which is so far away in the COVID era. That's what I'm saying with the COVID.
Well, Florida's further away.
No, I'm saying like Georgia and Florida are both way too far from Missouri. When there's people like again, your whole thought process of keeping it in conference is for health or health reasons, but the way you have it designed is not. Like the one thing I will say with the ACC dissolving the divisions, and it's just the top 2 teams, is Syracuse and BC. Florida State doesn't have to go play them. They're going to play a schedule where they're not traveling as far.
Yeah, I was saying the division thing because what we were talking about last night is it's very possible at the end of the season with the ACC, you're going to have Clemson undefeated, you're going to have Notre Dame with 1 loss, and another team who doesn't have to play Notre Dame with 1 loss, and then what do you do?
You'll probably go by. Then you'll have to go by rankings, which I know isn't fair, but that's how the first ACC championship was decided.
Again, no troll, but in the SEC, you could have 4 teams in the top 10.
Right, but that's why I think, really, to be honest with you, this is why I think they should really you'll always have a ranking. They should just relook at it the way they do, because there's no way to know. There's really no way to know until the end of the season.
But they don't have to when you got divisions.
But also, what I like about the divisions is the rivalries. Some divisions are better, and so like you'll have like if the SEC adopted the model that we're taking in the ACC, LSU and Alabama can play each other twice, and that's kind of cool. But that's also like I don't know. I'd rather see Alabama play a team that
I forgot about LSU. Like I'm writing LSU off because of how much they lost last year. I mean, you're talking about a team that lost a ton of starters and their offensive and defensive coordinators.
Right.
So I don't even think about LSU this year.
LSU's at 8-9. Well, I can't say that now because they only got 10 games. It's so that's the part that really sucks. Is I'm used to everything I equate is based on the 12 games,
and we don't know their schedule.
Yeah, so like we don't know how the schedule. For example, like,
I don't care who their schedule is. They go 8-2.
That's good.
With everything they lost, Ed Orgeron's a dude.
But here, again, going back to the ACC, it just all depends on where it's placed because I don't know the SEC quite like that. But there's a murderer's row. Remember, Florida went through that.
Well, they're going to have because if they're going to keep this, I haven't heard any rumors saying any different. Your current SEC schedule is going to stay in place. So if you're LSU, you're going to have your West teams, and you're going to have Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then the rumor is your next 2 teams that you would have played in the cycle get added. So for Florida, that would be Texas A&M and Alabama.
So that's where they came up.
Right. That's just a rumor. I don't know. But regardless of what happens there, LSU is going to play everybody in the West, and they're going to play Florida for sure. I don't know like what their next two. I mean, does that involve Georgia? I don't know. No, because they just played Georgia. Well, last year, year before.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that would look like. Regardless of what that is, if Ed Orgeron can lose all of that, and he can turn around and he can go 8-2 with that schedule, I already love Ed Orgeron, but then I'm like sold on him as a coach because Ed Orgeron's kind of got that. Gosh, I know I'm going to take crap for saying this. He's kind of got that Jimbo Fisher feel a little bit with him right now because of what the quarterback did.
Oh.
No.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I got you.
you.
Am I saying? Yeah, that's.
I mean,
that's
Jimbo
the way
won
to
a
put it.
natty.
That's the way
Jimbo
to
won
put
a
it.
natty with Jameis.
Right.
And Joe Burrow was there for LSU's natty. Now, if he can win one with Miles Brennan or whoever the next LSU quarterback is, then okay, then Edo is the dude. But until that happens, like you just, and I'm not knocking Ed Orgeron, but the dude set records. I mean, Joe Burrow set records, arguably the best offensive year anybody's ever had in NCAA.
Right.
And it was a different offense coordinator than what's there now. It was somebody you brought in from the Saints, who's now with the Panthers?
Yes.
Yeah. So if they win 8 games, man, hats off to them.
I just think it depends on, again, how people manage the injury situation, how people manage the COVID, and your schedule. Like, there's teams, regardless of how you feel about it, they're going to have to play Pitt, Miami, and Florida State back-to-back-to-back. That is brutal on most offensive lines. Like, if you got to play Bama and LSU and Georgia in back-to-back weeks,
Yeah.
like, I don't care who, like, you're losing. Like,
No, you're right.
losing one of those games. And you're lucky to come out of that, like, all the way healthy. Like, that's the benefit of playing a 12-game season, that you're able to – that's why you want to insert the cupcake in there every now and then, because that's an extra bye week.
I'm pulling up their schedule. But obviously, they lose Texas. That's not going to happen. They lose Rice. They lose UTSA. So their SEC schedule as it sits right now is Ole Miss, Florida, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Alabama, South Carolina, Auburn, and Texas A&M. So they would just have to add two East schools.
If they add Georgia.
Oh, that's not even fair.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden Georgia and Tennessee, like Tennessee's probably going to be one of them.
Give them Kentucky and Vandy. Help my boy O out.
Right. That would be brutal if all of a sudden you had to add Georgia and Tennessee or something like that to Florida, Alabama, Texas A&M, Auburn. That'd have to be the toughest schedule in the country, right?
If Florida gets Alabama and A&M,
that's, you're right.
I'm gonna give it. That's the top 3 teams in the SEC West. They don't play Auburn this year, right?
No,
but 3 of the top 4. So that's not cool. Like, that's not good.
Speaking of, I want to pull up Georgia's schedule. Let me see what they got going on. Because maybe I do. Maybe I'm going to come to your side if their schedule's soft, man.
Like, they have an anticipated schedule?
No, I want to see what they've got now. I don't know who they would move in there, but I want to see. Like, I know they've got Auburn. They've got Auburn every year. That's their automatic. Their SEC schedule is Alabama. Okay, never mind. Alabama, Vandy, Auburn, Missouri, Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky. So I don't know who they're next.
Give them Arkansas and Ole Miss.
Well, you just want Georgia to win these?
Just trying to help them out, man.
Trying to help Georgia out?
I just actually part of it. I want Arkansas to lose every game.
You're such a hater, dude.
Nah, you're right. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't like Kendall Browse. I want all the bad things to happen to him. I want him to get all the everything that he needs. I want him to lose bad. Anybody who come, and I want him to try that BS that he thought was cool at Florida State. Go out there on the first game against Alabama.
I'm gonna start calling out.
And run a revert.
I'm gonna start calling out all your boys on live on there. We're just gonna start making that happen.
Go run the annexation of Puerto Rico against Alabama. Go ahead, hook and ladder. Why don't you? Like, you thought that was good enough to go against Florida? Get out of here. Even though I'm so actually, you know what? Because I do like Felipe. I apologize, Felipe. It's not you. It's who's in your game. And unfortunately, you're an innocent bystander in all this.
What's your boy's name at Miami?
Todd.
Todd what?
Todd Stroud.
Man, I hope Todd Stroud loses every game. Like, I mean,
What?
you can't just be throwing me on
What
blast
does
like
Todd
this.
have to do with you?
I don't know. What does Kendall have to do with you now?
Kendall literally came in.
Why don't you don't hate Willie?
I do. I don't dislike Willie, but
You hope Willie loses every game?
Kendall, here's the reason why. Willie was inept, but Willie wasn't honest enough. He just sucked it. He was terrible at his job, and he went on and did his thing. Kendall was bad at his job and blamed everybody except for himself.
Man,
Like, you were the offensive
Willie
coordinator.
came in and stole $25 million.
Oh, without a doubt, he is a Black History fact. He is the largest heist in the state of Florida history came at the hands of Willie Taggart. He is the proof that you can lie on your application and you can get a good job. You should not tell the truth. Just say whatever it's necessary to get the job. But Kendall was telling people that Willie was calling plays, and I just asked people, at what point did you see any difference when Willie Taggart went on vacation after the Miami game of the play clock? To me, it all looked the same. It looked like he was allergic to giving the ball to Cam Akers. It looked like I saw a quarterback throw, like, if you play golf, I guess you would know about the worm burger. That's what people say I am.
Right.
I've never seen a quarterback throw a worm burger. Like, I've never seen. I can see a dig with a guy who's coming off a shoulder surgery, maybe having a two-hop it. But I've never seen somebody two-hop a quick slam. That's not good.
No.
I've never seen a quarterback take a sack on a screen deliberately. Have the screen open. See the screen. Guys wide open.
Right off bowl game?
No, I'm talking about against the University of Miami when he what got him fired. The bowl game was just egregious. Like, but then again, and this is why you shouldn't like him. Because this is a rule that I'm going to put on the shirt that I use. Anybody who follows me fifth quarter, anybody who follows me on Twitter, when I give my little bit of quarterback breakdown, I use a Diddyism.
Oh.
If your quarterback throws over 2 interceptions, it's not the quarterback's fault. It's the offensive coordinator's fault for keeping the quarterback in the game.
Right.
So that's who I blame. When your quarterback throws 5 interceptions and 3 fumbles, it's whoever the hell kept them in the game. And they still should have won. That's the crazy part. They still should have won.
For you on that.
So I don't like Walt Bill. I love the fact that the University of Massachusetts is one of the worst football programs in American history. And I want them to continue to have success at being that bad.
You know what's crazy about them? They have a dude that recruits this area. I'm just going to let it all out.
Oh, yeah.
The most obnoxious guy that I've ever met in my life. Walking around this area, like literally at Bartram Trail High School, telling them how to run an offense. I'm like, you're the coach at the worst offensive team in the history of the world.
Yeah.
I'm there. He's walking me out. And he's like, so do they play anybody any good? How are you coming into Florida recruiting an area you don't even know?
I can't wait till they get fired so a new staff can come in so I can root for them again. Because that's when I almost died.
Right, because of their food.
The food was amazing. It was the best visit I've been on. Like, the food, they have the #2 culinary school in the nation. Like, I have never had an apple that delicious.
Here's how bad this coach was. True story. The quarterback that was throwing for him, like he had thrown for him, we were walking out to throw, and the quarterback looked up and was like, do I have to throw? There's no way I'm going to this school. That's how bad it was. We gotta take a break, don't we?
Yeah, but just so we're clear, I don't want anybody.
Okay.
I don't want anybody to misunderstand this. I don't like Walt Bell, and I don't like Kendall Brown.
I think we're clear.
Just making sure everybody understands that.
I think we're clear.
All right, cool.
All right. I got nothing against your Stroud boy in Miami, just so we're clear. All right, we'll be back to wrap the sports den up.
Yeah.
Ready to watch this Lakers Clippers game. It is sloppy. There's been like 100 whistles already. People just all willy nilly running into each other.
Yeah. Get the COVID.
How do they hear each other here? If you're not watching TNT, like, it is fascinating to watch. Man, is it just me or is Doc Rivers aged about 30 years since the COVID?
Yeah. That man had to cut his own son. That's gotta be tough, man.
Gotta do what you gotta do, man.
If he's trash, he's trash.
I
do
still
it.
be getting paid.
I mean, I know season coming around. I gotta cut my son. You gotta do what you gotta do, man. You ain't good. You ain't good.
All right, we're out. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you share the SoundCloud. We appreciate you guys. We need more numbers, though. We need to take over that number one spot. Share, share, share. Tell people about us, even if you don't like us. People love to listen to hate. That's fine. We'll take the clicks. We'll be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Thank you for listening to the Sports Den, brought to you by ABC Fine Wine and Spirits.